Syrian media say airstrikes carried out by U.S.-led coalition have killed dozens of people in eastern Syria. According to the media, the air raids targeted a residential area on the outskirts of the town of al-Bukamal in Dayr al-Zawr province. Over 30 people were killed and many others were injured in the overnight airstrikes. Medical sources indicate that the death toll may rise due to a number of critical injuries. The coalition has on a number of occasions targeted Syrian civilians, killing many people, mostly women and children. Now, to discuss that further, we are joined by Mr. Paul Larudi from the Syria Solidarity Movement. Thank you very much, sir, for joining us. First of all, if you could quickly tell us what you think about the timing of this attack. It's at the same time that Syria has made great gains in the southern Dara province. Is this a coincidence?
Not entirely, of course. No, in all combat situations, it's strategic for the other sides to sometimes try to prevent any advances or to warn other sides, unfortunately with tragic consequences. And in the case of the southwestern region around Dara, and near the Israeli-occupied Syrian territory, the Syrian army made very fast gains and was very successful there. And in fact, the US-led coalition basically decided not to contest, to a large extent, what was happening there. So now what they're saying is, just don't try it here in this part of Syria. The point, though, is that this is part of Syria, and and Syria has a perfect right to defend its territory and to control its territory. But basically, the U.S.-led coalition is saying, you know, sorry, we're here. Don't try to come here.
Mr. Larudi, why? Is it on purpose that they're doing so, or don't they take into account the number of civilians, especially women and children, that are being killed? Can't there something be done to reduce the number of civilians killed in such attacks?
This is very low on the priority of the U.S.-led coalition, as we saw in the attacks against Mosul in Iraq and against Raqqa in Syria. I mean, the loss of civilian life was massive. They didn't care. They just wanted to level the place and essentially claim it for their own control. So al-Bukamal is a strategic point. It's on the border with Iraq. It's near one of the main roads, and it's in part of the territory in eastern Syria that the United States is somehow trying to maintain control over. They have basically said, well, anything north on this side of the Euphrates River, you know, Syria, don't try to control this. Our forces are in charge here.
And do you think they're successful in pursuing that strategy?
Oh, I don't think they'll be successful in the long run. In the short run, they're trying to delay it or discourage Syrian forces from doing anything. But I don't think the Syrian government is very serious about controlling all of its territory, and it's made its gains, and it tends to make more gains until it controls all its territory. So maybe this is next on the list. Maybe something else is next on the list. They're not going to try to take back everything all at once. But that area is important because of oil, because of access to the route across Iraq. It's a strategic area, and because it's a part of what has been controlled to some extent by the Kurds in the area. But the Kurds are not long-term. I mean, they've been allied with the rest of the U.S.-led coalition, but their loyalty, I think, is not necessarily long-term. It is strategic. They needed the U.S. for a while when the Syrian government couldn't protect them, but the Syrian government is in a different position now.
Thank you very much, Mr. Paul Larudi from the Syria Solidarity Movement, giving us his insights regarding the recent airstrikes in Syria.